Welcome everybody. This is the tools and resources deep dive. Hopefully everybody's in the right place. So I'll start with just kind of a really high level intro. We've been investing a lot in these tools, and part of what we want to make sure that everybody walks away with is just the awareness and how you can use these tools. Some of them, Scout, which we'll cover in a second, we've had for the last 3 years. And then there's a new one that we just launched this week, Solutions Finder, the rebranded version of it. And then also Scout for Solutions, which allows you to take your brand and put it on top of these tools so that it's customer facing. So we're investing in these tools for at least 3 reasons. One of them is obviously sales growth. We want you guys to leverage these tools and be able to grow with them. The other is data accuracy. The value of these tools is only as good as the accuracy of the data inside of it. So by us building these tools and these being proprietary to us, we can control that, and we're working with our providers to actually keep that data up to date. And the third one is, as Alan mentioned, we're not for sale, and these tools are part of our long-term strategy. So we need these tools to be around to empower you guys and help you guys grow. So if we can go to the next slide. So we asked a couple of your peers, sales peers up here, to help us talk about the value of these. Denise is going to do a live demo as we go through these, but Michelle, channel director, and then Justin, channel director as well, will talk about how they use these tools as well as they engage with either customer or partners as well. So with that being said, Denise, do you want to give us a really quick recap of what we're covering?
And like Cesar mentioned, we'll really be covering the sales tools. That's what you heard Alan talk about in his speech. That's what you hear us really evangelizing the most. There's a lot of reporting tools and other sort of resources in the portal that we can always cover if you come from me for a demo, if you're interested in that. But a lot of new partners really aren't pulling all that data yet, or they know they go into their commissions to download their commission statement. There's not a lot of coaching involved, and you can't really get that tool very wrong. These tools, not a lot of partners know the power in them, how to really leverage them, and therefore aren't really that comfortable trying to use them. Like Cesar said, the 3 big sales tools: Scout, which does serviceability lookups and pricing proposals. We have this new Solutions Finder, which launched over the weekend, a really great enhancement into creating more reports for your customers with a lot of matrix information on the back end, really building something for the presentation of a solution. And then Scout for Solutions, which lets you take those and a few other sales resources and basically appear like you have a white labeled website, your logo, your branding, stripped away of anything about Sandler, so you can demo that to your customers and walk them along your solutions building live and in person. If we have a little bit of time, we'll also cover some additional nuggets and resources, so I'm leaving that kind of to the end in case we can get to that.
Cool.
So I'm gonna switch over from our presentation to the portal in just a second, and while that switches over, we're gonna start with our Scout tool. This was the one where when you have an address, and we'll go here in sales and in Scout, a lot of you might be selling internet. That's where I think a lot of people tend to start in telecom. And in order to sell internet, you have to know what provider offers services at your customer's address. You might be going to 3 or 4 different tools to try and figure out who the LEC is, who the cable companies, who is available. And that can take some time, not only getting access to those tools. Some of our providers tend to make you jump through some hurdles, but then learning how to use those tools effectively, and just the time that it takes to go to 3 or 4 different websites. In Scout, if you plug in an address, with one single search in a few seconds, we're gonna give you lots of serviceability information about which providers are gonna be available at that address. I'm gonna move through this section of info based on how often, I'll get to your question in a second, based on how often the information is updated. Along the right-hand side where you see the LEC and the cable company, this stuff is coming in real time from those providers. You can see exactly what broadband and fiber services are available, how likely it is to install. And again, it's a direct connection into the exact data that they're displaying in their tools. We just get it all in one single place. Then you have your serviceable providers, which again are updated a little less regularly, But once they're in that building and they have that connection, it's very unlikely that somehow that fiber is going to break off. So these are also going to be some best options for your customer to consider for internet. And then you have the nearby providers. These providers might be building out the network, but not updating their data as often as we would like them to. But they're still really good ones to consider in case you want even more options for your customer.
Can I interrupt real quick, Denise?
Yeah.
Michelle, you had mentioned there was a customer, and this is a really good example of the value of Scout. There was an address, I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, so I'm from Chicago. I love that you looked up a Chicago address. Thanks for representing. But not super familiar with the Houston market, so I actually had a partner reach out to me and ask for serviceability at One Greenway Plaza in Houston, Texas. If you can plug that one in, that'd be great. And because I'm not familiar with the market, I don't know all of the local providers that are available there. And you'll see when the results come up, we actually just added PS Lightwaves. You'll see them on the list here.
Oh, yeah.
We just added them in 2023. So this is live and real information, and anytime we add a provider, we typically backload that information into here. So when you plug in an address, it'll show every provider that is available in the Sandler portal, and that is updated all the time. So any new provider that we add, all that information is going to be available in the Scout tool as soon as we add them into our portfolio.
Yeah, thank you for calling that out. And for the new providers that might be in the room, make sure that when we do your onboarding, we make sure that you're in Scout, so it's basically a plug and play. That data is living on the back end. We just have to bring it forward and get it going. So.
And I'll just reiterate that because that's a really huge value. If you guys have customers that are outside of your normal comfort zone, obviously if somebody's selling in your backyard, you probably know who the typical players are. But use Scout for every lookup because it might trigger a new provider that we have in there that you just weren't aware of. And these also hyperlink. You can click on PS Lightwave, it takes you to their provider page in the portal, and then you'll know who the channel manager contact person is there to request a quote or get more information, or reach out to one of your salespersons, and then they can help you and give you more insight and information into that too. More on provider pages in a second, but this is a really valuable part of the tool. So
Yeah.
go ahead, Denise, sorry.
Awesome, no, thank you.
Thank you,
That's great.
Michelle.
So all the serviceability info that we have in here, what are the next steps? You want to quote one of these providers to your customer. Let's say you are going to go with an AT&T or a Comcast, the most commonly ones quoted since they're the LEC and the cable company. I'm going to pick Comcast specifically because I have something really exciting to show of what we can do with them. For 4 providers, Comcast and AT&T that you see here, and then the 2 other big cable companies, Cox and Spectrum, we allow you to generate pricing proposals so that you can start getting to put that in front of your customer faster. The speed to sale from qualifying, we're not only saving you time of not having to go to several different tools to figure out what providers are serviceable, we're now taking you to the next step of being able to generate pricing. And I'm going to call this Chicago Sandler. I'm going to pretend that's our customer name, and you'll see in a second where we're going to put that in. But then this is pretty simple to go through. If you've ever done online shopping, or you can go through these different filters, I say I want Comcast services. I say I want a 24-month term length. From there, you'll see what categories of products are available at that term length. I want coax. That's typically what we're going to sell to these single site customers. And then you can pick and choose all the different services you want to add onto your cart. As you see, it starts to add up to the right, and you get some summaries of your monthly costs, your install costs, etc. Now, the reason I pulled up Comcast is if anybody here who has Comcast in their backyard and you're selling that. Okay, a couple people. They have promotions that drastically discount the services from the standard pricing. This example here, the 500 meg internet that I have selected on the screen is $250 standalone. So that's what your customer is going to have to pay if that's all they ordered and they didn't look into any other promotions. Once you pick that term length, my 24 months that I selected, and the 500 meg speed, in this drop down here, you're going to get several different package options for discounts. And you can see here I have one that is $190 essentially, and that is going to bring my internet down to, instead of $250, I can pay $190, $60 discount, but now I'm getting additional products on top of that. I'm getting a Connection Pro, which is a backup wireless internet in case my coax goes down, and I'm getting their Security Edge product, which at the end of the day, if your customers don't even want to use this, they might not have to. But having those extra services on there and bringing their costs down by 60, sometimes 50 or more % is going to be very valuable for them. And we've had instances where those customers, we quote them $250. The customer goes and checks the internet saying, oh, let me see if there's any sort of discount. They see this at $190 and then come back to us and go, why didn't you give me the best pricing? Or a direct rep happens to reach out to them, offers them that, and same. They tell us, why couldn't you give me a better pricing?
Hey, Denise, if I could just step in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of you are familiar with the Security Edge product, but as you've seen, the big topic today and yesterday is security, especially with these smaller customers, right, that aren't going to be buying these big security solutions. Security Edge is actually a great gateway product into talking to your customers about this, because this is going to protect them from ransomware, malware, email protection, stuff like that. So it's actually a really cool product to kind of get that conversation rolling as well, and it essentially is free.
Yeah, thank you. And so as I've built this whole thing, we're going to still pitch them that Security Edge product in this case. Along the right, you see I've added up all my services, and it came down to, after the modem fee, still a $50 discount, or a $30, $40 discount. When I said we can do pricing, we can also do these pricing proposals. So you come all the way to the bottom, you hit that print button, and you're going to get this pretty little PDF, which all of the services itemize what the costs are, the cost savings that we've done for them. All of those services added on, then plus coming down to less than what it would have been for just internet. That number's pretty powerful to the customer. And a couple more details about the package and all that good stuff. And you'll see it's devoid of Sandler branding. We just have a little Powered by Scout logo here, but it doesn't have our colors, doesn't have our logo. In just a little bit, when I show you Scout for Solutions, I'll show you how you can actually brand this as well with your logos.
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot, where we want to empower you guys to make you guys in front of your customers have that extra clout and collateral. So white labeling a lot of these tools was a really big part of what we were accomplishing this year. So like Denise said, we'll get to that in a second. But before we do on that part, I'm really excited about the Solutions Finder that we just launched this weekend. So it is live now, and it's available. You guys can, if you haven't played with it, we're gonna go through it here in a second, but I encourage everybody to, after this, go log into your portal and start clicking around, because this is really, really cool stuff. Denise.
Yeah, so the Solutions Finder original functionality, where I can search a UCaaS provider who offers also SD-WAN and is HIPAA compliant, that very one filter plus one filter plus one filter functionality still works, and that's the across the stack tab here, where you can go through the different categories and build a solution that way. But what I want to really highlight are these new technology categories up top, where we're going to have you build a more focused solution for your customers. So you'll see along the left-hand side here, this is now converted into basically discovery questions. We're trying to guide you along everything and anything that you might consider when pitching a UCaaS solution to your customer. Maybe you didn't think about whether they need some sort of Microsoft compatibility, and that's going to be actually pretty important to them. Maybe they have a specific UC platform that they're really interested in. You said, you know what, give me just Zoom. That's the only thing I want to hear about. And you can build as many, any filters that you want. They need a specific app integration because they use RPM, I suppose. So as we do that, you'll see along the right-hand side here that the matches are going to continue to change. You'll get everything that matched your criteria 100% at the top section here for 3 out of 3. And then you'll get everyone else down below based on how many matches they hit.
Denise, can you go ahead and expand the, let's say, app integrations real quick?
Yes.
This part is kind of like behind the scenes a little bit, but when we launched Solutions Finder for the first time in 2019, we tracked about 80 key terms. And then over the last couple of years, we grew that to about 350-ish. With the launch of this new Solutions Finder, we're over 700 different terms, and we actually redesigned the whole backend. I know this is kind of like techie gobbledygook, but we did it in a sense, we built it this way so that if there's a new technology term or something that we want to track out there, we can very quickly go to the providers and say, do you offer chatbot integration? Yes, great, check it in, and it's going to start appearing in here. So over the next, several years, and I was talking about how data accuracy is important, this is one of those reasons why we wanted to build this proprietary, because if we design it correctly, we can control that data, and we can create as many of these matrices or sub-matrices as we want, or as you tell us you need. We're not building these tools for ourselves. We're really looking for your guys' feedback on what is it that is going to help you guys grow your business? And if there's a specific category, term, technology that needs to be tracked, or help us keep those providers honest. Hey, Verizon checked off this, and that's not really something that they're known for, or they don't really do that. This is something where we can all keep this up to date, and that data accuracy is what's really, really important. So, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. We launched, as you can see, with 3 and a sub-matrix of meetings. We have network and voice launching and cybersecurity as well at the end of this week. These are the ones that we got in for the event just so that we can show those, and then those are going to keep rolling out. So here for communications of when those will all be available, and we can always get you trained up on how to use those as well. Our engineering team basically uses this when you call them and they say, I need X, Y, and Z. Ben Edwards, that I was on a moderating panel with yesterday, basically confessed that to everyone. This is the tool that he's using to help get to the right providers for what we need to sell. So as you saw, I picked a couple providers. I picked 4. I got 4, yes. And then I can now generate a matrix here. And this I've already customized and preset my logo and colors. And you can see it's got, let me zoom in a little bit. There's that search criteria that we have. So all of those questions that I answered for what is it that my customer needs. And then tons more features and information, everything else that you might not have filtered by, but still want to know about. You can present this in front of a customer, and now they see everything else that we're tracking, everything else you can help them with, everything else they might need to consider for the solution that they settle on.
Denise, can I interrupt? Let's do a live one, because Justin, you were doing a demo with a partner yesterday, I think, and it was I think contact center. Can you tell us what you guys were configuring?
Yeah, Denise, let's add real-time coaching for CX.
Oh, okay. AI.
There was sentiment analysis in there. And what was it? I think we needed a couple integrations too. I think Salesforce was part of it in Teams.
Salesforce.
And then we needed PCI compliance too.
Cool. That was a good one. Awesome. So as you can see, we've got 4 providers, that are matched up here.
And then one thing just to note, as you're checking those different terms, it's ranking the providers of who match those terms. Hopefully that's pretty obvious. The ones that match 100% are going to be all the way at the top, 5 of 5. But then all the other ones are still available down below, and it tells you how many of those terms were matched as you've been selecting them. So,
Denise, can you also add yellow AI and dialpad in there?
Sure. There we go.
Those were 2 requested by the
Cool.
customer.
And again, there's the matrix. Oh, actually, did the customer want to lead with any one of these first? Do you want to?
Yeah, yellow AI and dialpad, yeah.
Okay. So on the right-hand side here, if you folks can see, we can also rearrange these. So not only can you pick any provider, even if they're not the best fit, yellow AI couldn't hit 5 out of 5, but you can put them in any order that you want so that way they come out on your proposal. And actually, let me now show you, you saw the matrix that I had. We also have a report that you can create on here. I'm going to call this Justin's customer. I don't think I spelled that right. And it has different components to the report, a cover page, a matrix, some overviews. You don't have to include any of these. So again, customizing the order, customizing the content. You can just pull out the matrix, or you can start to create these more report type documents that honestly really look impressive in front of a customer. I think whether they know the value, the content that's coming in here or not, there's the page of what you generated by you for them, that same report that we have here. And then we included some provider nice long report, provider overviews as well on those different options that we're recommending for them in case they don't know who Yellow AI is, in case they don't know what their average customer is like. We're starting to include all that info in there, which is what comes from their provider pages today. It's just now on an export file.
And I get in trouble for saying this. Doing this is the easy part. And I say that in the sense that if we really think through how we want to build this and you account for all the different things that you want to include in this, a lot of that information all the way at the bottom, the provider overview, is information that's already on that provider page in the portal. So we're really just grabbing information from different areas of the portal, but we designed it this way because then we can actually add more things to this. So for example, in this contact center example, if let's say Yellow AI had a specific case study that had, let's say, the Teams and the PCI component was part of a case study that they won a deal, we just tag those two terms to that case study, and you can, when you were generating that report, check off case studies, and that would just get included in this as well. Like, we'll be able to actually include more information, and you guys choose what gets included in that report, and then once it exports, do whatever you want with it. And I know right now everything is still in the green logo, but we're going to show you guys how to actually rebrand that so that it's actually your logo as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's good. I've been using this Your Green logo, and just so you're aware, it's not, that's where you put your logo. You're not going to have the Your Green logo on your things. But that'll take me into the last tool that we really wanted to focus on, which is Scout for Solutions. So you saw that one was already branded. I've already reconfigured my settings on that side of the house. But if I go into Sales Tools, again, we're going from left to right. Scout, Solutions Finder, Scout for Solutions. This is, think of a sister website to the Sandler portal. A lot of our partners, and I think I saw probably 70–80% of the hands during Alan's opening remarks go up when he said, who wants to have their own private label website? Who wants to be able to create that? And what we did is we took the Sandler portal, we took away the Sandler branding, we took away the partner-facing resources, the commission stuff, the marketing, the events, and we landed with just these tools here. And this is kind of what it looks like when you land on your dashboard. It's not your graphs, it's not your team, it's direct kind of launching off points into the different sales tools that we have. And as you can see, every little element is branded with, let me do one Greenway Plaza again. Every little element is branded with your colors, your little logo up at the top. We're gonna come through here, but it's all the same information on the back end. It's not any different. There's still PS Lightwave there. There's still Comcast here that we can generate a proposal for. And once this loads for me, the great part about this is if you wanted to take your customer along that journey, if you wanted to show them, all right, Mr. Customer, let's sit in front of my laptop and let's pick 24 months. Great, that's what you would like. You're interested in that 500 meg speed. Let me just show you, by the way, we can do some packages here that are going to lower your pricing and add some really valuable products to your infrastructure. Highly recommend this, and you're still coming in less than the internet alone. Let me print this out for you just so you can send it to your CIO and he can sign off on it. There it is, your logo are there, your colors are there. It's the same content and the same powerful, enablement of sales, but you can now demo this in front of your customer if you'd like.
Denise, can we do it just a hypothetical? Let's change the colors, let's change the logo.
Yeah.
Let's show them how we can do that.
I've got actually did save one here. I have a hypothetical company that I just kind of made up. And
They're hypothetical.
once you can change that stuff, again, you can change the logo, the different colors. You can pick a preset color. If you have a very specific red color for your company, you can enter that as well. And once you hit save for all of that, boom. It goes everywhere that you just saw me generate proposals for as well. If I come back to Scout here, actually I can open up one of those matrices that I just closed. Oops. Oops. Oh, why can't I do it? Oh, well.
Just go ahead and
Yeah, you
re-hit
can just hit view report again. Justin's customer.
Phew,
All updated. All updated. It's all in real time. It's not like saved or cached in any way, which also means as soon as a provider's logo changes, if I hit refresh in the middle of that, it will change. As the content changes, it will change. It's completely dynamic.
And so can you just keep scrolling through
Yeah,
that? Because
yeah.
again, it just shows your branding everywhere. And we took the time to make sure that your elements appear everywhere in here so that, again, you have the confidence of, like what Denise was saying, you can either flip your iPad around if you're in front of an end user customer, if you're doing a screen share, you have that confidence of like, this makes it look and feel like it's your brand. It has no Sandler anywhere in here. And the URL for when you're in Scout for Solutions, that's also scoutforsolutions.com, hence the name.
Yep. There
not
are
Sandler.
some very keen customers that if you try and play this off as your own website, which that's the intention. You want to go in there and basically show that you've built this entire resource. Even if they see sandlerportal.com in the URL, they might get a little curious. There is zero mention of it, again, even in the URL.
So we talked about Scout, Solutions Finder, Scout for Solutions. I wanted to go to Michelle. Can you give us a little bit of the high level, the value proposition, how you position this in front of a end user customer partner?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of partners who have been requesting this for many years. I know a lot of our competition do have these tools and resources, and we finally have it, right? I think the important part about that is we own these tools and these resources and can make them our own and add things as you guys see fit, right? And I think the real value proposition is for a lot of the smaller partners or larger partners that have entire marketing teams, you can look like a really, really large organization. You have all these contacts at all these providers. You have an amazing page. You have an amazing solutions finder, Scout tool, right, to look up addresses. This is a really powerful tool to turn around and show your customer, hey, these are all the tools and resources that I have, even if you are just a one-man shop, right? Or if you're a huge organization and have a big marketing team, all this content is already created for the marketing team, right? So they just can take the content or obviously use the portal. So great tools and resources. We put a lot of money and effort and time into these and love your feedback. That's obviously why we're building these tools. So if you guys do have feedback on what's next, what would be super helpful, please let us know. That's how we get better and grow stronger as an organization.
Same question for you, Justin.
Yeah, so, I mean, tools like this, right, I mean, it really is going to put you guys into that position to be your customers, trusted technology advisor and one-stop shop, and put you guys in a position of influence and power to really show them that, as you guys just both mentioned, that, it looks like you guys put the time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears into creating this to make their lives easier. So it just goes to show your customers that they can truly trust you. And work with you on all their projects.
Makes you look like you have a lot of buying power as well, right? If you go into the libraries and see obviously all of the carriers, you can now say like, hey, I have all the support at all these carriers. Look at the customer support. That's usually what I show my partners, because then you can turn around and say, hey, working with some of these carriers may be difficult, but look at all of the resources and support that I have at these carriers. So buying power.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Denise.
No, thank you. And those are the two other kind of libraries in here. Michelle teed me up perfectly because we've been talking a lot this entire summit about upselling, cross-selling, showing your customers that you have so many more options to help them with the across the stack. These two are also pretty powerful resources where if you happen to be in here, you can tell your customer, I know we're looking at network and voice, but trust me, how about let's talk, have a conversation about UC. I have 56 options for you that are all really great. Let's talk about cybersecurity. There's a lot of providers that I can work with, and some are leaders in the space. So helping you enable that conversation to sell across the stack, and being able to grow your revenue. That diversifies your portfolio. That makes that customer more sticky for you. And let me also come back to those contacts that Michelle was just mentioning. I'll bring up a provider page in here. Let's go to a dial pad.
As you're pulling that up, I tell this to a lot of people. We don't build these tools for ourselves. The feedback is really important from you guys. If there's something you guys see in here that you think would be a value add, please let us know. We really want that feedback because we're pretty nimble in how we can build a lot of this stuff. So the feedback's really important.
Yeah, and coming back to the Sandler side of the house for those Sandler Partner resources, every single one of these provider pages of those 190, 200 that we just saw have escalation contacts, support contacts, technical support numbers, knock numbers. It tends to be pretty valuable for not only you to guide your partners through that, but for you to give them that peace of mind. I think that, we keep this repository. We want to be able to help any of the support needs that you have.
Oh, go
So
ahead.
say, because I know we may not have time later to cover it, but just quick raise of hands. How many of you, would like maybe a guideline of questions to ask on certain technologies that you're not 100% comfortable with on talking to your customers on?
Good cheat sheet.
Ooh, at least half the
So
room.
if you can go back to the Scout for Solutions, just so you guys know, underneath the solutions questionnaires, it gives you a high-level guideline list of questions to ask per technology. So if you didn't know that these were here, they are. And, by all means, feel free to use this. You don't have to show these to your customers. They are branded if you go into Scout for Solutions, but I just wanted to throw that out there that they are there.
These are the non-branded
Yeah.
versions, actually. When we're in Scout for Solutions, we remove the Sandler brand. But these are also loaded. I think you can take these into the marketing center and put your brand and use them in campaigns as well. So a lot of this marketing material can be used and leveraged in the marketing center to reach out to your customers as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
I think my partners have the hardest time in regards to marketing. Generally, people that come from marketing don't come from telecom. So writing the content for them is generally very difficult. So all of the content is built in the Sandler portal, right? So even if you have an amazing marketing team, just take the content from here as well. Lots of great resources.
Awesome.
So I think there's a couple other things we wanted to show, but before we get to that, I know that there was a question in the back of the room. We can take some Q&As because we just went through Scout, Solutions Finder, Scout for Solutions. So I'd love to take some Q&A. Yes.
So I noticed when you pulled down the contract terms, they were 12, 24, and 36 months. Almost everything that I sell 60 months.
Okay.
So how can you modify that for the 60 months, but also have the pricing match it with the provider? Can you go out to 60 months?
Some providers can, so a Cox can. Their regular coax services do go up to that as well. We go for as much as the providers are willing to sell them for. Spectrum does a lot of their services only month to month. If they're available, we have them in there. Yeah.
If it's available, it'll show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Good question. I know that the early. Oh, yeah, back here. Let's go back here because I know you had a question.
You answered the question, I think, is that you're only in the providers that are in your portfolio.
Correct. So we have over 200 providers in our portfolio, and those are the question was if we have additional providers not in our portfolio. For maybe obvious reasons, it's the ones that we get paid on, so we can sell these and get paid. A good question, though. I'll go over here and I'll come back to you. Go ahead.
Is there an option to have a proposal generated from a stacked solution? Let's say I'm using some of Dialpad, I'm using some of Yellow AI, some other company into a single proposal.
Yeah, they'll as long as you, let's go back to Solutions Finder real quick. As long as you're picking them, so you'll pick the terms that you want to search for. So let's use an example that Denise was using, SD-WAN, and let's do across the stack. So let's do one that goes across different technology categories. So let's do SD-WAN, and then we'll do one. And then we'll do, let's say, Fortinet. And then you wanted to add a AI option, so let's say chatbot. And there we go. So then, as long as you pick them in here, so you mentioned, I think, Dialpad and Yellow AI or something like that, and we can pick. And so, yeah, so you can pick, different ones, and some of these match 2 out of 3. Some of them are 1 out of 3, and some of them would be 0 out of 3 if those were your search criteria. You can still go in here and generate a report for it. And then, Denise, go ahead and click the report. We'll scroll down to the overview section, and it'll include all of those providers. So if you, down here, you got the ones that you picked all right there. Great question.
When do you do trainings, like online training?
Great question.
Here, but in our office that need this information?
Great question. Denise does these every month. Do you want to pull up where you can actually find it in here as well? I'll let you speak to that.
On your homepage, whenever you first log in, just below all of your metrics and business, there's 2 links here. The first one is for every second Tuesday of the month, I have a 30-minute portal training where I go through these sales tools. And then the other link here is if you've heard of our marketing center, which I hope you have, they also do a 101 session. So it is both a training and then basically open office hours where you can interactively ask questions. Mine, you can do that as well. It just tends to kind of cover not the entire launching a campaign, adding your contacts, doing all of that. But we have both of those. There's the third Tuesday of the month.
Denise, can you also show us, so we record them every month. So if you don't happen to make it to that one, if you go under the education section, thank you, we have the latest version recorded. We don't have the whole history of like the last 10 because things are changing, all the time. So the most recent one gets recorded, and it's the first video right here.
Yeah.
So you can watch those. And then I'll get to you, Jeff, in a second. We're also doing demos today. So if you guys have additional questions, you want to come find us during the expo hall hours. And I know we were going to get to that in a second, but I'll just mention it now. We're doing demos at the Sandler booth. So as soon as you walk in, we're right on the right there. Jeff, you had a question.
How accurate is the pricing data on an either daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis in terms of like promos that are going on and certain stuff like that? For instance, if I go to a client and say we could do AT&T dedicated fiber, it's $8.99 for 100 meg. They price check it, they call AT&T, a direct rep says, oh no, I can do it for $6.99. Our pricing promo just started a week ago or something like that, and they're price checking. How accurate is the pricing data in this tool?
The data accuracy is the hardest part, but we control that, and that's why it's really important for us. So I'll use Comcast as the example. They update their promos every month on the 22nd of every month. Sometimes in between the months, they're actually updating that. So we're working with the providers so that they let us know, and they usually give us a heads up, hey, it's going to change next week. Spectrum will reach out and say, hey, we have this list of 100 new zip codes that are going to qualify for this new promo. They're working with us so that we can preload this so that when the promo is live, we also have it live in Scout. But that is one of the hardest things to keep up with. And we're working with the providers to do more of this in an automated way, APIs. Once we get to that world, and the providers want to get there because they know that this stuff needs to be accurate, we can't have price disparity between us and the direct channel. We're all working together to try and get all of this to be API, because then it's no human involvement at that point.
Yeah.
Great question.
But there is pricing parity. So if they do ever get better pricing from the other side of the house, we can generally match or beat it. Just have to bring it to us.
Absolutely. Yes.
If I have given access to the Sandler portal to my employees, do they automatically have all this at their fingertips?
Great question.
Yeah.
You tell us, or you control what they see. So I know we didn't go completely into it. We were going to circle back to it. There's a lot of the reporting information, commissions, orders, inquiries. If you don't want them to see any of that, just sales tools, we can give them just sales. So all of this is permission-based.
Yeah. The default is the sales tool. So the Solutions Finder, the Scout, the Marketing Center, that's like default already comes into it.
If I set up our logo and everything, that's what they'll see when they go in there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and something I forgot to mention is if you have lots of people at your company that you want them to use that Scout for Solutions, create those branded proposals, you set the logo and colors once, and it applies for everyone at the company. So not every person has to go in and configure that. It's agency-wide.
Thank you.
I think I saw another question back there. Yes.
On that note about adding it in, and by the way, I used to do this all by hand in cybersecurity for 18 years. I had red, yellow, green, like they're hard to work with, easy, cover your assets, everything, right? So I'm literally like in love, so thank you.
Awesome.
Great.
But when it's an evergreen versus the next categories, maybe I will know that, but if I'm bringing in a new agent or a new person, is there any way to maybe add a little bit, okay, so
And this is a little more of that leak.
harder to find, I guess, because when you're in that query,
Yeah.
it would be good to be like, okay, remind me again what that means.
Like a
Sure.
hover over or something?
Sure.
Love the feedback.
That's good, yeah.
Yes. A little hover over. That's easy to do. Great.
If I'm gonna spend the time taking somebody to market, I want to make sure that I'm not doing volunteer work, right?
Right.
For babies and puppies.
You're right. Right. And just to be clear, sorry if I can interrupt, adding that little information on Solutions Finder about Evergreen, that would only live in the Sandler portal side. We strip all of that away from Scout for Solutions because, again, if you want to do those demos, they don't need to care if you get high commissions or, you know, they protect your money. They might not mind, but let's not have that conversation. Sorry, go ahead.
I think I saw another question on this side. Nope. Ah, there it is. Yes.
You guys keep mentioning the value of giving you feedback for evolution and improvement to the tools. What's the best avenue to get that?
So there's a couple different ways. If you're inside of Scout, for example, there's a submit feedback button on there. We have also a submit feedback for the whole portal. Or honestly, just reach out to us. We're all really approachable. You can reach out directly to me, reach out to your channel salesperson, or if you go on your dashboard page, if we can pull that up, Denise, that is your entire team. So this is customized for you guys. It'll show who your channel manager is, who your partner services person is, who you can always reach out to add new employees and get them access to the portal, and then escalation contacts as well in there. So
Yeah.
reach out to any of us if you have specific feedback. And if you have really specific feedback, I'd be willing to get on a demo call with you guys as well, and just let's set up a 15, 20-minute call and give me that direct feedback. I did one with Jeff 4 months ago as we were developing this, and like I said before, we're not building these tools for ourselves. That really is the value, and we want to build these for you guys.
Yeah. There's also, if this is easy enough to remember, portal@sandlerpartners.com. That's an inbox we manage that will take any questions, troubleshooting too. That's where you can reach out if you're having issues with anything. But yeah, feedback can go to any of us directly, to your channel manager, to portal@sandlerpartners.com. We're a small enough company that we all end up communicating it back to basically the two of us.
So we have a few minutes left. Denise, can we just really high level the dashboard and
Yeah.
some of the information in there?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we'll take some Q&A on that as well.
Yeah, so when you land on here, you'll get some very nice visual aids of different metrics of your business with Sandler. If you saw Alan's opening remarks, we announced finally the location of our annual Superstar Trip contest, which will be Chileno Bay in Cabo, I believe. But this will be where you can track your progress toward earning that this year, the following years, all that good stuff. And then we have two bar graphs. One is of the last 12 months of orders with us, that's on the left, and then your last 12 months of commissions with us, that's on the right, really to give you a gauging of the health, the trend of your business. And we talked a little, Caesar mentioned those reporting pages. These link in directly to, if I click and hover on that bar, click on it, I'm going to my statements for that exact commission run. So they're interactive as well as you come in here and you want to maybe drill into that data of why was my May 2023 a little lower than usual?
And this is the information we can hide for employees. If you don't want them to see that, that can be,
Yep.
taken away.
Including the commissions rate sheet, spiffs, anything to do with money and reporting, we can hide it.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
Any questions, guys? I know that was a lot of info. We're doing more demos. You can join one of our portal sessions monthly. Yes?
When you put a proposal together, how is it taxes accumulate on that?
I'm sorry, say that.
Clients gonna taxes accumulate on it for circuits?
Taxes are not calculated
No.
in this because it's too difficult for us to
yeah.
even and it varies by municipality, by city, by state. It's all over the board. That even the providers, if you go to them, it's really hard to get like an apples to apples comparison of taxes. I know some customers would be like, well, here's what I'm paying with ABC company. Can you give me what's theirs gonna be with taxes? Go to the providers, and that's even hard to do. That one's a tough one.
I don't know if you could see, but we do have the little kind of terms and conditions text. It does not include it because it's really hard to manage.
It's in the fine print. Great question, though. If no other questions,
Can we switch back to the PowerPoint? I have just one little fun QR for us. Let me advance that. That portal training that you had asked about, if you can't join, there's a QR code. Again, it's every month. The next one I think is October 10th. Do I have it on there? Yep. For half an hour or as long as anyone is willing to stay on there with me. We're also doing those demo sessions downstairs. If you guys have more questions, if you want to find us at the expo hall, it opens up. Go through the doors, immediate right. We'll be on that right-hand side. Cool. Really appreciate you folks being here.
I think that's right next. It's next to the bar too.
It is right in front of the bar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Yeah. I'll leave that up for a few
Perfect.
minutes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.